What's up, everyone? It's Kadi with Money Vesting. So I hope you all are having a fantastic day today. Let me know in the live chat if you guys can see the screen and hear me without any issues. But we should be good to go. Let's do this. First, yes, let's go. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining. So the market's really mixed today. Not a lot of movement across the board. So let's take a quick look on the volatility index. We're slightly down, we're 2%. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. AMC, we're going to go over that today. So AMC, we're definitely going to talk about that because, as we continue to kind of stay elevated, stay above some support levels, I think there's a much bigger move coming. We've just been kind of range bound for the most part between, $50 and $60 per share. So let me actually bring up AMC over here. So you'll notice that this right here has been the complete analysis. We've just been kind of getting rejected at $60 a share. So you'll notice again, $60 to $61, we've just been kind of going back and forth for the most part. So we're actually going to be doing some new technical analysis on this stock to really understand where it could be headed next. But yeah, the markets are pretty much mixed today. If you take a look at the QQQs, we are slightly down about 11 basis points, so not a huge deal after the huge run up yesterday, 1.22% and new all-time highs. Take a look at the SPY, we are slightly up over 8 basis points. Dow Jones ETF really pushing higher, so that's going to be ticker symbol DIA, up over 36 basis points. So again, this right here is going to be our 5-minute chart. We're actually going to jump over to this. So DIA, this right here was the complete technical analysis from our market update yesterday. So DIA, actually that's going to be the Dow Jones here. Let me pull that up. So alright, so this right here was the technical analysis, and right now it looks like we are going to test this right here are lower highs. What's your target on AMD and predictions on AMD going towards the earnings? So again, $88 was the resistance region for AMD. At least in the near term, we got rejected almost exactly at that level yesterday. So the high for that day yesterday was almost on the dot at $88. So that is the near term resistance. Of course, that target got hit yesterday, and beyond that, I'm looking forward to a breakout potentially to highs of $94. So that is the next resistance to watch for advanced micro devices. So $88 support, we're looking for that level to broken out, act as a new support, and then break out to new all-time highs at $94. So seeing a little bit of retracement here, 5 minutes left for the markets to open. We're going to quickly set up some charts over here, and let's see how the markets turn out. So we're also going to go over the July's calendar, because today, tomorrow is going to be the last trading day for the month of June 2021. So do you see a reversal in Coinbase yet? Over 250 is for sure confirmation, but at the moment, would you enter or bide your time? So Coinbase already had a breakout. So we talked about it, during our even our private live stream, I believe, and the Discord. So we are already seeing a breakout from this 21 EMA and this previous resistance. There was significant divergence, bullish divergence from Coinbase, right? So this right here were the higher lows. So we were forming higher lows for the relative strength index and a couple lower lows from the price itself. So we were expecting a breakout out of this 21 EMA. We got a great move upside yesterday, 9.86, and now we're sitting exactly at our resistance and our target at $250, right? So we're sitting at $250 and 90 cents pre-market, up another 1.7%. So the 50 EMA, you'll notice, is just now starting to develop. That's the yellow line you see sitting roughly at 258. So that's the next resistance, but I personally see a move back up in more aggressively, back up to over 275, $300. It really depends on where Bitcoin goes. So we've done some crypto analysis in the past as well, but I'll go over that in just a second as well. So we got a lot to talk about. Dave, thank you so much for joining in. Chat, yes, we'll go over C3AI as well. It had a strong day yesterday. It's kind of like forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. We're seeing some more upside. $78 is the next resistance. So I do foresee some more upside here from AI moving forward. It's at very attractive levels, and I've been eyeing this stock very, very recently, and if you do see any type of a pullback down to $58, I think that's going to be a strong opportunity to kind of establish a new position here, all the way as low as $47. So we got about 3 minutes left for the markets to close. I want to quickly set up the charts here. This is going to be NEO over here, top left. We're going to put the 5-minute charts. Seeing a little bit of a pullback, but nonetheless, this right here is a support at close to, and again on the pre-market chart, there's going to be a support at close to this level, at close to 48.84. So a couple bounces here pre-market as well. Right now we're just consolidating sideways, down about 36 basis points. Tesla is going to be in the top right. Again, down about 0.5% here, trading as low as 684. pre-market, I would watch this level right here. So that's going to be at 681. Let's see if we actually hold up above that support. So this right here, Palantir up another 4 basis points. Palantir has been on a complete charge here. Yesterday's high, 27.50. We had this on point, like literally nailed it at 27.50 because Palantir, that was a resistance that we were talking about from our updates at $27.50. Next target, $30. If you get a breakout over $27.50 today, next resistance, next target for Palantir, $29.99, closer to $30 per share moving forward. And then over here, we got Apple up another 11 basis points right now, getting a little bit of a spike pre-market. So today, not a whole lot of news or catalyst coming up. So should we expect the growth to pull back a little bit today? Yeah, I mean, QQQ is pulling back. So relative performance chart, we are seeing a little bit of weakness. So this is going to be, let's take a look, 1-day chart. You'll notice energy is the one that's actually leading. Technology is pretty much flat. So again, energy prices, as they move up higher, we are seeing pre-market Exxon, Chevron pushing higher, and of course the banking sector is also up after being down substantially over the last few days. So, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, they've all been down over the last several days. So now you'll notice that the energy sector, so that's going to be XLE, that's the blue line at the very top. We've got the yields, that's the US 10-year yields, up another 33 basis points, and we got the financials and industrials. Those 3 sectors kind of leading higher right now. And that's pretty normal, right? Because over the last week, the month, we've seen technology rally. That was updated in our market update from yesterday, so we have seen a significant rotation away from value over to growth. So it's very normal for us to see a little bit of a pullback here. All right, let's take a look at AMC here. So I feel like AMC just gearing up for another potential move to the upside. And there's going to be, again, strong resistance that we're fighting at the $60 level. So that would be, very, very strong level to watch. And right now, it just seems like, as we get closer and closer to getting ourselves aligned, it's just forming some type of a bull flag, in my opinion, which could lead to a further breakout to the upside, right? So we did come down, we had a huge rally, this was a jump from $39 up to 60%. Now we're just starting to consolidate. So let's see what happens. I do have my alerts set up, but again, there's going to be a lot of alerts set up for a lot of companies, right? So let's just move over, see this. So NEO down about almost 1% right now, coming down to lows of 48.80, and Tesla is down about 29 basis points as well. So SoFi, yeah, we can put actually SoFi over here instead of Apple. So SoFi up another 6% today, 8% today, so that's absolutely incredible. Great purchase at $18 per share, so that's awesome. Yeah, it had a really strong dip buying opportunity here, over 16% gain, right? So definitely pushing higher. And the catalyst, as far as I'm aware, was because of the, alright, so Coinbase is pushing higher. Let's take a quick look. So Coinbase breaking out over 250, huge gap up, breaking out over our target at $250. Let's take a look at CVS. So CVS back up over to that support resistance here at 21 EMA. This was part of our swing trade. This wasn't a private swing trade. This was actually posted on YouTube. So we were looking for a reversal trade back up to that $90 level. So if anybody's in this trade, I'll give you guys an update on the live stream as we move forward. So CVS nicely moving higher a little bit. Let's take a look at TER. So Teradyne is still up a little bit. So we did get a little bit of a jump yesterday, up over 2.5%, and today it's pretty much flat. But the target I have for this is going to be at close to 144, right? That's the bull flag breakout that we're looking for. That's scenario number one. But if you see any type of breakdown, this is right here is going to be scenario number 2 for Teradyne. All right, so a lot of alerts are actually going off. Let me see what's moving. So we got CVS, we got AMC now breaking out over 60. Let's take a quick look, up over 2.5% here. So definitely pushing higher. I feel like as we get more aligned with our moving averages, I can just feel that there's a much bigger move coming for AMC over to like $77. That's going to be the target that I have. All right, let's take a look. So CVS crossing over $85 now. That's incredible. Just going to remove all inactive alerts here. So yeah, that's moving up nicely. Let's take a quick look at NEO. So down about 1.6%. Tesla down about 1.2%. We got SoFi still up over 6%, and Palantir is now down close to 0.5%. So the winners from yesterday are taking a little bit of a breather, with energy, of course, pushing higher. Banking, green across the board, except for Citigroup and PayPal taking a bit of a breather. But Goldman Sachs up over 2%, JPM up over 1.1%. So 10, love watching your videos, man. Thank you so much for joining in. So coin is at 254 already. Prasad, actually, congratulations on those call options on Coinbase. That was super, super exciting. And good job kind of holding on, right? Because this was the swing trade. And the stop loss or the stop limit was, there was a couple ones that below 217, below 208, but this has been a strong rally, right, as Bitcoin has recovered. And there was a lot of bullish divergence for the stock. So we were expecting a breakout eventually, right? So which is why we were adding in the last week as well. So Thomas says, looking good. Yep, you are. So Coinbase is a big winner today so far. And let's take a look at Etsy and how that's doing. It had a huge run yesterday, so drop about 1%, which is normal. And again, resistance at 199, right? So we talked about this resistance at 199 yesterday. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn this 190 level into a support. So this right here is going to be acting as a support for Etsy moving forward. So that's going to be turned into a support here. And again, that's the level that we need to kind of break out over for Etsy, right? I still have my price target well over $200 at close to 225, but we'll see if we actually get up there. All right, so let's take a look at some of the other stocks here and what's actually moving on the day. All right, so AMC is up at $60.60, up over 4.4%. Coinbase pushing higher to 256. Plug Power, NNDM are up, so NNDM is at 1.5% in the green. Got rejected at our target at close to $9.33. Fiverr up to 251. Absolutely crazy here for Fiverr. So let's take a look at Pubmatic. So PUBM, where is it trading now? So slightly down about 1%. And again, we had a resistance at close to $44 right here, 44.14. We talked about it in our last update, and yesterday you'll notice that the high for the day was $44.19. So we almost got rejected at that level, which is very normal. So you'll notice that we actually had a breakout, bull flag breakout over those moving averages, and now we're trading above the 21 EMA, the 50 EMA, and we're getting rejected at this resistance, right? This resistance kind of aligns with this previous support. So again, you'll notice that previous support, triple bottom support here, now acting as a backtested resistance. So very normal for us to see a little bit of a pullback down to those moving averages before making the next leg up and break out over $44. So again, it had a few really strong days in the last week. So it was up over 36-37%, so it's very normal for us to see a bit of a pullback here. Yeah, I'm relieved to see a pullbacks after 8+% moves in stocks. Yeah, and that's good, right? That's what we need to watch for these stocks, is because after these huge rallies, it's very normal for them to see a little bit of a pullback. So yesterday's live stream, we were talking about Roblox, and $93 was a resistance. We got rejected at that level, even though we were trading it as $94.39. We closed exactly below that resistance. So we closed at $93.04, and the resistance was at $93.15. So again, this resistance was validated. It was there, and today we just gapped down. So $89 is actually going to be a support now, moving forward, June. So that right there is going to be the level to watch at $89 for Roblox. And I do expect a little bit of more consolidation before seeing the next breakout. So would not be surprised if we do get a little bit of consolidation sideways before a breakout over $93, back up to over $100 plus. Neo not gonna pull back $55 by the end of this week. Let's take a quick look. Look at Neo. Oh man, $50 is coming, Jason. $50 is coming. Look at that. Look at that pop. We're almost at $50. $49.95. There we go. $49.97. Tesla still getting a little bit of a pullback, but let's just focus on Neo for a second here, because out of nowhere, we are now starting to see some momentum kick in for Neo. Neo said not today. That's right. We'll see. I mean, I would get it. So there we go. $50. Breakout of $50. 50.20, 50.21. There we go. $50.25. Yeah, I would give it like a few more minutes. I would give it like 5, 10, 15 minutes for the pattern to kind of really settle down and establish a really strong support. Because if you guys remember correctly from yesterday's run up, we need the price to really rally for a few more 5-minute candles here to really take off before having any risk of the pattern kind of fading or rolling over, right? So the volume is good. I like the volume today. It's almost 8 million shares already traded. This is like 10 minutes into the open, and 8 million shares already traded. We're back up to $50.37. So yeah, strong move to the upside. And The second 5-minute candle even stronger than the first minute, almost up over 2% now, right now. So absolutely incredible move. I don't think Tesla is making a very similar move. So Tesla, in fact, is actually going the other way. Well, we're making some recovery. So, just still trading a little bit sideways here. So not too bad. Somebody must have known about the delivery reports, right? Yes, so delivery number is very, very important for NIO. That's coming up later this week. So that's going to be on Thursday, July 1st. Maybe I should have added that to our calendar, right? So this right here is the calendar coming up for the month of July. So again, we've talked about it. Nothing really important stuff today, but the real party starts tomorrow. So we got the ADP non-farm payrolls, we got the pending home sales, we got the MU. Somebody I think mentioned Micron is reporting their earnings. So they're reporting their earnings tomorrow. Pattern is setting up for a great reversal trade here, which I will go over later in the live stream. But initial jobless claims coming up. We got the ISM manufacturing report on Thursday, July 1st. And then on the 2nd is when the real catalyst begins. So we got the non-farm payrolls for June, and we got the unemployment rate, which is going to be revised. Currently, we're sitting at 5.8%. The average hourly earnings, participation rate, all that good stuff. And then the following week, we've got 4th of July long weekend. As much as I love these weekends, I really don't like the fact that the markets are closed. Saturday, Sunday already is like 2 days out of the week that you can't really trade, or the markets are closed, and then you tag along another day. It's just too big of a weekend. But anyway, the markets are going to be closed, and then we got 10 a.m. Eastern. We got the JOLTS report. Currently, we're sitting at 9.3 million. That's still a pretty elevated number, record level for the. Jason says take a break. I haven't taken a break, honestly. Like, there hasn't been a single day where I haven't really posted a video or not worked, so to speak. Because I love this so much, is that I can do this without even feeling tired. I mean, I still need to rest, but I love this so much. So Tuesday, July 13th is when we got the CPI, the core CPI. That's going to be inflation numbers for the month of June, right? Right now we're sitting at roughly over 5% for total. Core CPI is also sitting at well over 4%, so pretty elevated. And then we got a lot of banking earnings. So we got Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and PepsiCo reporting their earnings as well. So NIO at $50 and almost 50 cents, almost at 2%. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback on the 5-minute chart. We'll see if this actually level holds or if you're going to see some profit taking here. So that's the candle to watch on the 5-minute. If we do see some type of a red candle, it's going to be a little bit different than yesterday's momentum, because yesterday we went straight up like for the first 30 minutes, right? And right now we're seeing a bit of a pullback here from NIO, so which is normal. We'll just see if we actually do have any buyers present to step up and push us back over $50.60 or something like that. Right now we're seeing a little bit of profit taking for NIO right now. All right, so moving along, we got Wednesday, July 14th. So PPI, which is going to be producer price index. That's actually much later than the consumer price index. So CPI is the consumer side, PPI is the producer side, so manufacturing and what businesses actually pay. Core PPI strips out certain items as well. And then we got another round of banking earnings. Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo also reporting on Wednesday, July 14th. The 15th, we got a lot of earnings. Delta Airlines, we got Morgan Stanley, UNH, Progressive Insurance, and we got retail sales and core retail sales, very important as well, on Friday, July 16th. And then another round of a lot of earnings here. So Netflix, Coca-Cola, eBay, Johnson & Johnson, the week of July 20th, and then the 23rd as well, some earnings. FOMC meeting begins on the 27th, and this is perhaps the most important day. If there's one day that you're going to be watching on your calendar, that is going to be this one right here. It's going to be July 28th. It's going to be Wednesday. Again, the FOMC meeting concludes. We got the interest rate decision. We got a huge round of earnings. Like, there are companies like AMD reporting. We got Boeing. We got Facebook, Ford, PayPal, Pfizer, Qualcomm, Vertex, Win, Xilinx. They're all reporting their earnings on the 28th. And then on the 29th, later this year, we got Google, Amazon, American Airlines, Baidu, and of course companies like Tesla, Apple also reporting their numbers. So there says the Dow scenario 3 also resuming. Yes, it could be. Could be. All right, so let's take a quick look on some of the stocks here and what's moving and what's not. But for the most part, we got Peloton that's down, Roblox is down, Upstart is down a little bit, close to 1%. Palantir, Clover Health, Alibaba is down 224. 225 is the support for Alibaba stock. I think somebody was asking about Alibaba here. But 224 is kind of like the support level. So Marcus has signed up for your Patreon. Nice content that you have. Yes, thank you so much and welcome on board. This is only the beginning. We're going to be doing a lot of other things. I'm working on some tutorials on fundamental and technical analysis that will be made available to all of our Patreon members starting July. So you'll get access to free tutorials on technical analysis with homeworks if you guys want to do it. I'll ask you guys to analyze these charts as part of your homework if you're interested in that stuff as well. But it will be available to all the members. All right, so DraftKings, Tesla down slightly. We got Pinterest, Fubo TV down. Nothing is severely down, except for Peloton that I can see down slightly about 3% here. But nothing is crazy selling off. We're only seeing a little bit of consolidation, maybe a little bit of a pullback, slightly. But for the most part, everything just remains pretty stable, so to speak. So we're not seeing a lot of selling pressure kick in for a lot of stocks. So all right, we got a minute 30 left for this candle to close. Tesla starting to make a move back higher a little bit. So yes, drop that. Thank you. Yep, perfect. All right, I'm glad that you guys are excited here. All right, let's take a look at some EV stocks here. So NIO is the only one that's actually rallying higher. Workhorse is up, and we got Hyliion, BYD, GM, Li Auto. And then a lot of legacy auto manufacturers also down, with CCIV, XPeng, and XL Fleet, ChargePoint down slightly as well. But again, nothing is super aggressively down. Let's take a look at S&P 500 holdings. So the most companies are down is American Airlines, down roughly 1.6%. So I think it's a little bit of a muted day. So Ben asks if NIO is still a buy. So again, this is I want to address it. One of the questions that I've been getting a lot is that if this particular stock is a buy, if this stock is a buy. People are asking me if Nvidia is a buy, if what is it, Nvidia or Fiverr is a buy, if a lot of stocks like these, CrowdStrike is a buy, Enphase is a buy. These were all great buys a few months ago. Right? So it's not like these stocks just started rallying. I mean, they did start rallying, but these were, in my opinion, the risk-reward trade-off for us to do the actual buying was, over here, a few months ago, when they were down roughly 50-60% from their all-time highs. So Etsy, let's take a quick look. So we're continuing on this rally, now up over 200%. Back up to over $200, up over 1%. But again, this right here was a drop of over 37% from Etsy. So if you're considering starting a new position at these levels for any stock that has run up 30, 40, 50%, for example, Nvidia is a great example, right? If you're considering buying Nvidia at these levels, starting a new position, I'm talking about people who don't already have a position in Nvidia, you're starting a new position. You have to really be aware that where are you buying this stock, right? And it goes back to our example. Just think about the person who actually purchased Nvidia back on September 2nd at $587. Why? Because the stock ran up over 49% in the last 2 weeks. You put yourself in that position and you simply just back test this and you go back to over here, let's say, right? So now we're over here and we're seeing the stock, right? This is Nvidia back at 485. And you see Nvidia stock just pushing higher, rallying higher, rallying higher. And this is the type of market, in my opinion, that kind of attracts these last minute buyers. And again, this is way too overbought. If you took at the RSI of the MACD, it doesn't mean that it can't go higher. It certainly can. It can go up to 600, 700. But the real question is the risk-reward trade-off, right? Does it make sense to actually buy at these levels? In my strong opinion, the answer is no. I'm not starting new positions here because the next few days you'll notice that we had a huge drop, 20% drop in just a matter of 3 days. So it really is a question of risk-reward trade-off. So if you're buying, all the power to you. You just have to be aware that you're buying at near overbought levels, technically speaking, and just from a fundamental standpoint too. The valuation is stretched. There's no way getting around that, right? So unfortunately, we just have to accept the fact that we missed out on this rally at 47%, and we can be patient, right? We can be patient with these plays, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities elsewhere. Right? There was opportunities still at Etsy while Nvidia was running out. There's opportunities at Etsy, which was still down. Just a few days ago we were trading at 165, and we've seen a rally of 22%. So it's very easy for us to be attracted at the next best stock that's running up. But if it's a missed opportunity, there's going to be more in the future. There's going to be other stocks that are providing that opportunity, right? So, all right. Yes, so David says, simplified answer, only buy these stocks if you're really realistic about the targets and understand the risk. Absolutely, right? So there is going to be an elevated amount of risk if you're buying at overbought levels, if you're buying at valuations that are stretched, because fundamentals in this market matter most. The one thing that matters most in this type of market is fundamentals and valuations, right? Whether these companies are valued appropriately, fairly valued at these prices or not. And out of all the big tech FANG names that I can go over, AMD breaking out over $88 today, up over 1.4%. I think Nvidia is a little bit on the high end of valuations, because if you take a look at the price to earnings, price to sales, it's pretty stretched, right? 30 times sales it's trading at. Price to earnings is almost 100. Compare that with AMD, 9 times sales, and almost a third of price to earnings, 36. So, I think AMD has a better risk reward trade-off versus Nvidia, and it has rallied. It has rallied too, close to 22%. So yeah, that kind of is my 2 cents for what it's worth on whether we should be buying at these levels or starting new positions. It's completely all right to buy additional shares if you want to add more shares to your current position. That's normal. That's okay. Yeah, so Upstart has been coiling for a long time, right? So we are pretty much just been trading sideways, right? This could be seen as some type of a bear flag too, so I'm fully prepared for a breakdown. This is more of a long-term play for me, so I did add it close to 125, for which we actually sent out the alert to all the Discord members. So this is the higher lows, so we are now starting to get more and more aligned with that higher low. That's really just literally perfect sitting right there at the higher low or the ascending support. So we should see a much bigger move very soon, so you're absolutely right, G, that it is coiling in for the longest time. It's just because people want 4 number of shares, that Mark says that. Yeah, so I mean that was the big catalyst, right? We saw that with Tesla and Apple last year. But realistically, I mean, of course, we all know that the stock split doesn't do anything to the fundamentals. It's a complete restructuring of the share count, and the price doesn't do anything to the valuation, right? The valuation remains the same, right? You're just increasing the number of shares in the markets and decreasing the price when you do a split. So when you take the number of shares times the price, the market cap, well, in an ideal world, it should remain the same, but it's always this phenomenon that, I'm gonna get 4 shares if I buy just one, might as well just buy more. But then post split, we've seen a lot of stocks actually pull back, including Apple, Tesla, and a lot of other stocks. But Upstart, watching 110 closer to 109 levels, it's just been coiling in right here. So there must be a bigger move coming in. So we'll see if that actually happens, but nonetheless, I will continue to kind of add more if it does drop to like 110 or even lower. Below $100, I mean, Upstart, I'll be loading up a little bit more aggressively on the stock. All right, let's take a quick look on where everything is also. So again, we're getting a bit of a pullback from NEO. $50.50 is kind of like the high for the day, but we're still up close to 1%. Let's take a quick look on AMD. So strong move, breaking out over $88. Apple pushing higher, Shopify just literally at 1,500. Let's take a quick look at Airbnb. So still slightly down. The price action has been weak on Airbnb a little bit. We're still getting rejected at those moving averages. The 50 EMA more specifically is just fighting that resistance here, and the 50 SMA, right? So we're just kind of getting rejected at those moving averages. So we'll see if we do get a potential breakout to the upside from those moving averages. The volume has been really low the past couple days. So I mean, yesterday, you'll notice that the volume was just about 7 million shares versus 9 million as the average 10-day volume, and just about 6.45 million. So the volume's been really low. We really need volume for Airbnb to actually break out over the 153 resistance here. If not, I mean, we already know where the stop limit is. This is a very, very low risk trade. Only I think about 1.75, close to 2%. That's the risk level on this. Stop limit I think is under 146 for the stock. All right, Uber also kind of coiling in perfectly at the moving averages. So 200 SMA, 21 EMA, 50 SMA, we're just all literally sitting at that level. So expecting a breakout as well from these moving averages. The volume needs to pick up as well, down just about 1% today. SoFi has been running, Sunrun, Solar. Let's take a quick look. A lot of solar stocks have been running higher, right? So Sunrun is up another 3.4%, approaching some type of a resistance at the 200 SMA. So that's the level I would watch at, close to $60. 59.64 is the high for the day. there was some divergence here, the bullish divergence, so we're seeing a breakout to the upside. So $60 is going to be the next level to watch moving forward. All right, let's take a look. NEO holding up above that 50 VWAP and $50 level in the middle VWAP here. Tesla still fighting a little bit. The price action is weak from Tesla stock right now. So 687, 690 is kind of like the level we've just been getting rejected at. So JKS, I think somebody did ask me. I was doing some analysis on it. I have some alerts on this as well. So strong move, right? I think you mentioned it. I think there's a person who mentioned 4 or 5 different solar stocks, and JKS with another 9% move. Strong rally here on heavier volume on the company, right? Small cap, so only 2 billion. So year to date still down a little bit, but definitely been pushing higher aggressively after this huge sell-off that we saw. So it was down over 67%, and now we're seeing a rally. There we go. So there's the alert for JKS that we had set up at close to $50.28. All right, so yep. So I've got quite a few alerts on SunPower. We got alerts on JKS, SOL, XBI. Biotech has been pushing higher, right, recently. XBI, we were rallying a little bit yesterday. But then, of course, we got rejected at that resistance, and then saw a little bit of a pullback intraday. So Peter, welcome. Thank you for so much for joining in. So AMD by 90 by Friday. Yes, it's looking like it. It's definitely been pushing higher with a breakout over $88 today. So $94 is kind of like the next target. It's the next resistance I have is $94. But of course, we have to keep a close eye on the RSI, the MACD, and where we are trading from the index level as well as they continue to kind of push up. So, all right, quick index check. Let's see where we are with the broader markets here. So, all right, on the day we've got technology now starting to lead a little bit. So energy has pulled back substantially. So that's the blue line you guys see on the charts. We were up over 1% at one point, started coming back down, and we're up only 37 basis points, and tech is now actually the one that's leading. So that's going to be ticker symbol XLK, up almost 0.5%. XLB, that's materials, also up, very competitive with tech here, but the ones that are losing right now are financials, consumer staples. We got energy pulling back, and healthcare, industrials, staples, and the yields are pretty much flat so far. Let's just open up our different chart here. All right, we'll just put the S&P and the Dow Jones over here. So Dow Jones did push up a little bit. Now we're seeing a bit of a pullback. I'm actually going to put the indexes. It's much easier. All right, so we're going to do Dow Jones here. We're going to do SPX. All right, let's take a look at where the Nasdaq is trading. Yesterday's all-time high was 14,005. We're trading at 14,518. So the 5-minute chart for the S&P is kind of flat, not really showing any signs of any movement here. Let's take a quick look on the Nasdaq. So 935, we opened right here. So just been pushing higher a little bit. All right, so NEO also struggling a little bit, and Tesla is also pretty much flat, with banking, which is flat. Upwork is the one that's up the most, 4.7%. So, all right, so Caddy, when the market is up, we wait for good entries. What do you recommend doing with cash on the side, putting into something low volume, low risk? That's a great question. So it's more of a percentage of the cash that you have in your portfolio, right? I always stay anywhere between 8 and 20%. 20% only when the markets are a little bit heated. They are pushing up to new all-time highs, kind of like the market that we're in today. We're seeing a lot of stocks run up 40, 50, 60% over the last few weeks. So that gives me a good indication to kind of raise more capital and just hold on to it for a potential correction or a dip that I'm foreseeing in the markets. And then as we see that correction, then that number comes down to 18%, 16%, 12%, 8%, even as low as 4%. That means that I'm doing a lot more buying when stocks are coming down aggressively. And again, red days is kind of like a signal to add more shares, buy more levels, buy more stocks at those specified levels, right? So if you and that can change, doesn't necessarily mean that the whole broader markets has to sell off. Like individual stocks can pull back down to the support levels that you want to add to, then you can add money to those. So I think it's very stock specific, it's very portfolio specific, and the cash percentage that you're comfortable with having in your portfolio when the markets are moving up versus when the markets are moving down. So there's always going to be opportunities in the markets. I mean, always there's going to be stocks hitting some type of support levels if you've established some type of a level that you want to buy at. For example, if AMD, you wanted to buy it at $80, even if the markets are rallying higher, if AMD comes down to $80, that's your support level. That's where you've identified as a level that you're going to add more shares at that level for AMD. You go ahead and buy it regardless of what the market is doing. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is you don't focus on how indices are moving month over month or stocks are moving. You have a specified amount that you're putting into the markets consistently over time to smooth out that volatility, right? Regardless of what the market is doing. So you're just consistently just putting money into the market, and that has proven historically to be very, very successful strategy of just simply buying and holding consistently over the long term. So stop limit to watch on Uber, Cole, I think it's going to be closer to 49. So we're down a little bit over 1%. So I think it's below these. It's a little bit higher, so higher risk. If you want to reduce that, you can put it under that 200 SMA, which is going to be sitting roughly at 49.90, so under 49.50 levels. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, 47.60 is going to be the level, because this right here is still the bull flag. We're still trading above those moving averages. We'll see if you do get some type of momentum higher. But price action for both Uber and Airbnb has been a little bit choppier. We're still down a lot from our all-time highs, but the price action has been choppy for both of those stocks. So yesterday, we tested lows of 147, and then we got a bounce back higher. We were green on the day. So today we're testing 147 once again. We'll see if we actually do validate that level or if we do close below that level. If you do get a close below that level, I think that's going to be a good time to get your stop loss or stop limit triggered, and that's going to be downside of just about 2%, only because the pattern is getting a failed breakout, right? We're seeing a little bit of a breakdown below those moving averages. Which is fine. I mean, 2% with the potential for 12%, I think the risk-reward trade-off made sense on this trade. But if you do get a breakdown below 147, 146, that right there is going to be a stop limit, and that's going to also break down below this sort of higher low patterns for for Airbnb stock. All right, so the Nasdaq is now starting to turn a little bit to the downside here. So is only up over 5 basis points, with the Dow Jones up another 32, and we got the S&P pretty much flat, about 14 basis points. The yields are, let's take a quick look. Yields are up almost 1%, so we're going to put another split here. So yields here starting to pull back a little bit. We have been pushing higher since 12, so that was I think midnight till 8:30. Tapped out at 1.5. All right, let's take a quick look at Palantir. So Palantir also getting rejected at 27.50 levels. It's no surprise. I mean, that was the resistance that we're watching. And of course, next support is at $25.75. So a lot of stocks are actually hitting that resistance, right? It's no surprise that we're seeing a bit of a pullback here from those companies, because they are hitting some resistance levels. So let's take a look at Tattooed Chef, TTCF. This is also a company that I'm doing some fundamental analysis on. In the broad scheme of things, it kind of looks like they're forming this symmetrical triangle, so lower highs and lower lows. So for Tattooed Chef, this has been the pattern where we have just been trading consistently in lower highs and higher lows. It's very apparent, it's very clear to identify this, because it's just been trading inside this range. So we pushed up, got rejected, sold off, pushed up, sold off, pushed up. The expectation is, according to this pattern, for us to see a retest down to this level at 1650. But right now, only time will tell if we're going to actually see that. And if you bring out the moving averages, we're trading above the 50 exponential moving average. So This is actually not the worst time to start a position because we're still down, about 30% from all-time highs. But just be mindful that we could see a little bit of a pullback here, maybe down to 1650s as we validate this higher low pattern, right? As we continue to kind of validate this higher lows. So Siddhant says stocks seem so expensive to buy nowadays. They are. I mean, they have pushed up quite a bit, right? So, which is why it's normal to add more shares if you're already in, but starting new positions is a little bit tricky at these levels. So Enphase Energy with a huge rally in the last 4 weeks, coming in from lows of 130, we have jumped over 51% back up to almost $200. So strong move from Enphase Energy as well. So definitely pushing higher. NEO taking a dip. Yes, the NEO is taking a dip here. So still just under $50. Tesla's pattern again looks a little bit weak. We're still hovering over 680, but we're still just not able to break out over the 685, 690 level, right? So it's the moving averages just consistently getting rejected at that level. All right, so Enphase pushing higher. Let's take a quick look at Square, up another 1.5%, breaking out to 250. Next level is going to be at 259. That's the next target. $259, $260 levels to watch for Square. Coin is now up over 4% to 256. Absolutely incredible move. But again, what is the resistance that I talked about? So 258 is the level, right? So we got up to as high as 261. And we got the 50 EMA now starting to develop. So, we are getting a little bit of rejection there at that level. So that would be the resistance level to watch. Mara is, so Mara on a very strong uptrend here. My price target is at $38 next. It's up another 10% today. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, this right here is the next target at close to $38 on Mara stock. It really depends on where Bitcoin trades. So actually, now would be a good time to actually go over Bitcoin very quickly. Alright, so let's pull up that crypto chart. So it really depends, for the movement of Coinbase, for the movement of Mara, Riot, really depends on where Bitcoin prices go, because that's what's going to be driving the prices of these miners and of course the exchanges that trade off of Bitcoin's price. It's up over 5%, almost trading at 37,000. So this is the complete analysis on Bitcoin. So just looking at the pattern right now, right now we're seeing a bounce higher inside this downtrending channel. So the lower highs and lower lows you guys see here, we're seeing a bounce higher from these lows. So it makes sense why we're going to see potentially highs of 38,400, maybe even as high as like 39,500. That is going to be the next level, like the next target, right? 30,000, 39,000 levels to watch. So Ben, that's a great question. So when looking into fundamentals, can you tell me exactly what I need to look at? So in terms of fundamentals, some basic things to look at. We can go over some ratios here very quickly. So let's just pick up a stock, right? AMD, for example, we're going to talk about. So TradingView offers this great thing where you can simply come over here. You can go over to more fundamentals. And again, this is going to be more on a basic level. You can come over to the income statement. Right, you can take a look at the revenues. Like 2017 goes over to 4 years. What I really like to look at is growing revenues. Right, I want to see revenues that are growing year over year. Of course, TradingView is not going to give you the rate, like at which rate they're growing. AMD, I know it's growing at 47, close to 50% year over year. So consistently growing revenues. Then TradingView also shows you the net income. So 2.5 billion net income for AMD versus almost 9 billion. So profitability is another thing. Doesn't have to be a profitable company if it's a growth company, if it's just getting started, but that's something that I also look at. So growing revenues, consistently growing revenues year over year with profitable valuations. This goes over the cost of operations, of course, cost of goods, operating expenses, all these different things, taxes, interest income, interest expenses, all those different things. But really, statistics is where you get most of the stuff. You can get price to earnings, price to sales, right? Price to earnings is another metric that we look at. Price to sales is another valuation. Both of them are valuation metrics that we look at. You want to take a look at the liquidity ratio. So quick ratio, current ratio goes over current assets over current liabilities. Anything over 1 is said to be solid. So that's good because that means that they have more assets than they have liabilities. I also take a look at these solvency ratios. That goes over if there's any potential for solvency for the company, bankruptcy, because you don't want too much debt for the company. thankfully, unfortunately for AMD, they have a very strong balance sheet. So all these ratios are very, very low for AMD as a company. Then you can also kind of look at the gross margins, the net margins, return on assets, equity percentage-wise. So gross margins for AMD sitting at well over 46%. Net margins are sitting at 16%. That's actually not very true, because gross margins over the last quarter has been much, much higher. And net margins have also been very higher for AMD. So those things are very important. So balance sheet items, income statement, and of course being cash flow positive. Those are some basic things that we can get started with. And then of course listening in on earnings call, looking into merger and acquisitions, what partnerships the company has, and the industry, the total addressable market for the company, how well it can grow in the future. So all those things, and kind of like the market share. Those are like all different things that I like to take a look at. All right, so Airbnb getting destroyed. Yes, Airbnb probably is pulling back now. So let's take a quick look. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a pullback, down about 2.45%. This is a long term here. So if it does come down, again, Airbnb, I'm doing some more fundamental analysis on this company. As we see more reopening of the economy and more vaccinations, I fully expect Airbnb to be more valuable in the future as it is today. And we are down, what is it, a little bit over 40 or 50% from all-time highs, 33%. So again, these are the type of discounts and the deals that you want to be looking at, right? Not when Nvidia has rallied over 50 or 60%, when Airbnb is down over 40%. Those are the types of deals that are in the markets. All right, let's take a look at NEO, June 14th and 18th. Might be doing the same today. So NEO with a doji candle and still struggling to break out over 49.50. So we did get up to as high as $50.60, but we are still fighting that resistance at $49.50 here. So June 14th and 18th. Let's take a quick look. So June 14th was over here. We got up to as high as 47.25, and June 18th was over here. So June 18th we were pushing higher at close to over 46.45, so we were trading all the way to highs of $48, but we did get a little bit of a pullback. So in my opinion, 49.50 is still going to be the resistance level on the day, even though we did trade up to as high as $50.61. If you don't close above that level, then would not be surprised if we do see some more pullbacks down to 46.45 moving forward. Again, delivery numbers are going to be the huge catalyst, but to what extent is that getting priced in, right? That's the big question here. If we're going to see, even after the delivery numbers, if we're going to see a rally or if we're going to see a pullback. If they come in like crazy over 10,000 vehicles, then yes, I could expect some type of a rally up to $55. But if we see like anything moderate at 7,000, 7,500, even as high as 8,000 vehicles, that's going to be very normal, like a moderate response. But if we get like something that we saw in May, when the numbers came in much lower than the expectation, at close to 6,700, then I would personally be disappointed, because if they're not able to hit their goal like in the second quarter for 22,000 vehicles, then I would be a little bit disappointed. But for the most part, I would expect them to get at least over 7,000 vehicles. All right, so let's take a quick look on Tesla here. So again, price action looking really weak, down about 1.5% here, trading as low as 677. SoFi pulling back a little bit, and this right here is going to be Palantir. It is also dropping after hitting 27.44 on the day. We're down about 2.28%. So AMD is actually the only one that's actually rallying a little bit today, right? Out of all tech. So Coinbase and AMD and Upwork are the ones that are up the most. Then we got Fiverr, Enphase, Square that are up slightly. I think January all-time high numbers are fake pumps. It's Wall Street. So January all-time high numbers for the markets, Merck, or for the what are you actually talking about? So Unity Software also up to 110 here. Most stocks, gotcha. All right. So, all right, Dr. Instyle, Caddy, could you please analyze Ethereum chart when you get a minute? So we have actually analyzed Ethereum in the past. Again, we shared the chart for that in our Discord as well. But this right here is the analysis. So we are now starting to see a breakout over this resistance for Ethereum back up to over 2050, 2100 levels. So the only question is if that level is going to continue to hold or if we're going to see some type of a pullback once again. So we'll turn this level into a support once we get a successful close above this 2200 levels. So again, jump of over 6% today. So Mara is killing it. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, so Mara up another 9.5%. We went over this earlier as well. All right, let's take a quick look of AMC. We haven't talked about AMC in a while. $60. $60, $61. That's the level. That's the resistance that AMC is just struggling to break out. That's going to be the level to watch. And the volume has just been really low. So WHR, somebody mentioned this yesterday in our in our Discord. I have this on my watch, up another 1.5% today. But definitely watching this very closely as this stock is down also, aggressively over 15%. So CVS, CVS was up over 75 basis points. We'll see if we do get some follow through and some more continuation on this. If we don't, of course, we know where the stop limit's going to be for this stock. But yeah, definitely starting to see some type of reversal back up for CVS. All right, let's take a quick look of AMC here. Moderna has been on a rally, right? So let's take a quick look at mRNA. So Moderna at 233, up another 4.8%. This is incredible. 93, almost $100 billion market cap. And this has been a strong rally coming in from September. 340%. So good deals on Airbnb, Uber, Sam, and Disney. I agree. So a lot of stocks that are actually down 30-40%, I'm going to be personally be looking into those companies now for some buying opportunities. So again, everything, a lot of stocks, of course, Fubo TV, even that's down a little bit over 24 basis points. Still hovering in between these targets. But just look at these moves, right? 136% gain since the middle of May. Take a look at XPEV, so XPeng, same thing, right? Jump of over 101% in the last few weeks. So we've seen significant rallies for a lot of these companies, especially in the small cap growth space. All right, so AMD is now up over 2%. We got Lemonade that's also up close to 1% here. Let's take a quick look at this. So the yields have come down substantially. So the yields on a relative basis is only up over 11%, but 11 basis points. But the Nasdaq, take a look at this. Huge sell-off coming in from 950 down about 28 basis points here, and the Dow rallying. Perfect, and the S&P pretty much flat. So that's what happens, right? It's always like a battle between the Dow and the Nasdaq. The S&P kind of hangs in there. But it's always between the Dow and the Nasdaq. It's just, money flows from one to another one to back up to this one, right? It's always been between these two kind of indices, and the S&P just kind of like stays flat. Yes, so Marcel, we do look at real estate. I think it's on the calendar that we had, pending home sales and new constructions and all those different things. In fact, the real estate market, of course, is so intertwined with everything that it affects a lot of different things in so many different ways. So NEO coming down, now down a little bit over 1%. Palantir with a huge rejection, down about 2.6%. And we got SoFi up over 1%, but still very weak on the price action. Is there a convenient grouping and types of stocks and which market they trade on? Don't quite understand. Mark, could you elaborate a little bit? And what you exactly mean by grouping and types of stocks? So Mark says we are losing gains now. Yeah, I mean, this is just a pullback. Honestly, this is just a simple pullback. We saw much more than that back in February and March, right? If you were part of our live streams back then, it was a complete bloodbath during the day. It was just like watching red after red after red. It was just like every day. It was just like, I'd be better off if the markets were just closed. Tech versus oil and gas purses, etc. Like, are you looking at trading view to actually be able to like group stocks and look at them on a sector by sector basis? Or so Teladoc we've also analyzed, I think, in the past. So an actual pullback would be 10%, and that would be for the broader markets, right? Stocks can go up and down aggressively as well. So unless there's like a huge, like a 20, 30, percent pullback, this is very normal. This is like a normal day in the markets, right? I mean, take a look at the broader markets, right? Nothing. The Nasdaq is down 15 basis points. The Dow is up 39. S&P is up 12. Yields are down about pretty much flat. So not really much going on. So for Teladoc, we had a sell-off. We saw some type of a bear flag. Then we saw a breakdown below this level, pushed up, consolidated sideways, and then broke out to the upside. So kind of like the next resistance or the target is going to be sitting roughly at this 182 level for Teladoc. That right there will be the level to watch, and this is going to be the new support at 165, 166. And again, this is going to be the 21 EMA aligned with that 21 EMA. So that would be the level to watch moving forward. So the market is still healthy. I agree. The market is still healthy. And yeah, the whole point is that we need to understand that this, again, there's a lot of talk about a potential crash and this being like 2000s, 1990s. I don't think this is the same thing. I think there's a lot of revenue and earnings potential for a lot of companies in the future. So this is nothing like what we saw earlier. Is the stream lagging a little bit? Because I don't know what happened. Alright, so hopefully it's working without any issues here. Was lagging a bit. Okay, gotcha. So NEO still holding up that pre-market support at close to this 48.84 level. And Tesla seeing a bit of a recovery, but still on an aggressive sell-off. Palantir's been selling off as well. And Amazon just turned red as well. Could you identify some good deals in the markets today? It's kind of a bit of a challenge here. Let's take a look at Pinterest. Has also moved up quite a bit. Yeah, so everything is just Pinterest up 43% in the last few weeks. Tesla up 27% in the last few weeks. Spotify, we had a swing trade on this too. Up 29, almost 30%. I think Upstart is decent. Upstart has not yet rallied. In fact, it's actually gone down from the middle of May and June. Like, we're still up from May 12th. We were up over 120%, and we're up over 52% from the middle of May. But I think it's still validating some of those higher lows for Upstart. So I think it's just coiling in to make a much bigger move. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about the move because it's starting to form some type of a bear flag. So wouldn't be surprised if we do get a breakdown to the downside, right? 110 under $100 per share. I think it's going to be the one to watch. Yeah, so Cole mentioned, I think, Baba and Vertex, VRTX. This was actually another company that was mentioned to me. It's up another 33 basis points. We had a swing trade on this as well. Not a swing trade. This is a long-term play. But we do have an established swing position, right? So if you wish to take a swing trade, all the power to you. You can take that. But it really depends on what strategy works for you, right? And what are you looking to do with that idea, right? Whether you want to swing trade this or whether you want to hold this for a long term. But Vertex, stellar financials, profitable company, and is still down roughly over 35-36%, trading at very reasonable and attractive valuations. You'll notice consistently growing revenues. Here, profitable company, if you take a look at the statistics, just under 19 times PE and under 8 times price to sales. So definitely, I think it's in a good deal valuation under 200. I think Vertex is a one to look into further and do some due diligence on it. So another one that you mentioned was Baba. So Alibaba, yeah. So we did some analysis on Alibaba as well. Getting a little bit of a pullback, which again is normal, right? So 224, 225 was kind of like the support we talked about. This is the level, and this is in my opinion a start of a new uptrend. This is very normal for the patterns to actually see some type of a breakout. So have a breakout and then come back down to validate this old resistance, as a new support, right? So this was an old resistance for Alibaba at 224, and then make the next leg up higher. So I think this is very normal for stocks to pull back, and more specifically for Alibaba to come down to 224. But of course, fundamentally undervalued wise, talking about the core business, I think it's undervalued. Down about 30% from all-time highs. So I think it's undervalued in my opinion. Price targets are well over $275, $300 plus. All right. So CCL, Carnival Corporation, let's take a quick look. So down from June 8th, we're down a little bit over 18%. So not a huge fan of cruise lines or airlines, only because the amount of debt that they carry and just the uncertainty, the nature of unpredictability when it comes to the revenue. It's not a perfect recurring revenue model. The margins aren't very strong, and of course the balance sheets are not picture perfect. So I'm just a little bit concerned and hesitant like in these cruise lines and airlines, but these are certainly they have been great recovery plays, right? Coming in from October, the stock is up 148%. But it's just a matter of where are we going to see future revenues to be? Like, are they going to be pre-pandemic levels? To what degree, to what percentage are they going to actually be up there? So those are some things to consider as well moving forward. So Sunshine says Baba is undervalued, currently holding 200 shares, bullish on the stock. Great fundamentals. Yeah, I agree, because Alibaba and a lot of stocks, like including Baidu, I feel like, JD, I feel like, are still down pretty aggressively from their all-time highs. So those are all in that good deal territory. All right, so the Nasdaq still down about 9 basis points. The Dow is up over 40 basis points, and the S&P just pretty much flat, up over 15 basis points. Alright guys, so thank you so much for joining in. I'm going to spend some time with our Discord members and answer questions there. So if you are part of our Discord, you will see me. If you have any questions, you know where to reach out. But thank you so much for joining in. Really appreciate you guys. We've got a lot of things coming up starting tomorrow with the ADP non-farm payrolls report. Then we've got the actual unemployment report on the first Friday of the month, which is going to be on Friday this week, on July 2nd. So that's gonna be very important as well for the market. So thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate you guys, and if you haven't already, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out the channel. Subscribe if you're new here, and make sure that you check out the links down in the description below. So again, we're gonna jump over to our Discord, and again, thank you so much for being a part. Love you guys. Have a great day. Peace.